We're so back.
We're back.
We're so back.
And better than ever.
Better than ever.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
We'll
see.
You will be the decider, the judge and jury.
Oh, great. It has been a hell of a couple of weeks, I'll tell you that much.
It has been.
Let me tell you what happened.
Please.
So, recently, our company took a trip to Cancun, Mexico to stay at the Hilton Resort.
Yes, they did.
All-inclusive package. How nice. Now, I had everything planned. I packed everything the night before. I was very responsible. I said, all right. I woke up the next morning, 8:30. I stretched my little arms, made myself some coffee. I have time. I look at the emails again, just double checking. Oh, what's that BWI? That's an interesting acronym for Harrisburg International Airport. Now, in my defense, I do want to say the last trip we took to Cancun was at a Harrisburg airport.
And in the trip's defense, it was very specific that it said BWI.
Yeah, and I thought BWI, could be a abbreviation for Harrisburg.
Yeah, you think?
Not the case. I call
it was Bourg Airport.
Harrisburg International Airport. I call my friend. I'm like, hey, we're flying out of Harrisburg, right? Please say that. Please tell me that. And they say no. Out of Maryland, out of Baltimore, in fact.
Yes.
Now, the flight
famously, I would say, what BWI stands for.
Yeah. And the flight's taken off at 11:18. Mm-hmm. It's 8:30.
Uh-huh.
It takes hour and 45 minutes, hour 50 minutes to get there.
Yes, it sure does.
I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to go down without a fight. So I throw everything in my juke. I peel out of there. I start driving. I lock in. Usually when I drive, I like to relax a little bit. I, lean back, cross my arms, take a nap. But this time, I was locked in for the entire hour and 30 minutes. Managed to shave off 20 minutes. I get there at 10:30.
Wow.
I go up to the people at the front desk at Frontier. They say, oh, we can't print a ticket for you for some reason. The system isn't allowing us. You're a little bit too late. I say, please try again. Try again. They have to reset the computer. Finally prints me a ticket. I am not running through the airport because I don't want to get shot. I go to TSA. They're taking their damn fucking time.
Well, they're not getting paid right now.
Right.
Famously.
Well,
I take my damn time too.
Yeah. I'm going through it. I'm like sweating bullets. It's probably like 10:45-ish. I have my sunscreen, my bug spray, my hair gel, all taken. I'm like, take whatever the hell you want. I just need to get through right now. Okay? I run to the terminal. No one's there. At the gate. Nobody at all, except for the people behind the desk. I go up to them. I show them the ticket. They look at it. They look at me. They're like, they have this look on their face that's a little bit difficult to describe. Probably the look of somebody who is observing just a complete lack of responsibility in another human adult. And
disappointment.
Yeah.
Sadness.
To my enormous relief, I want to say that I didn't stop for Burger King or coffee or anything.
I'm really proud of you.
And I really wanted to.
Honestly, I'm so proud of you.
I'm like, I might have time. They go to the door. They put the code into the door to unlock it. I say, thank you so much. I go down the tunnel to the airplane. And if I had been a minute later, I would not have made that flight. But goddamn, did I make that flight.
I'm really proud of you, Dylan.
What a ride.
I'm really proud of the responsible adult that's sitting right in front of me.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm glad you came back.
And it was a lovely trip.
I'm so glad.
Ordered a whole bunch of room service. Ordered 4 Dos Equis to my room. Call that Ocho Equis. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Second time I've used that joke.
Yikes.
Dos joke.
Yikes.
And I, oh God, it was a lovely trip.
Yay.
And made it back on the return flight responsibly, on time.
I'm glad to hear that.
And things are going pretty well in my life. Yeah. I haven't seen any fleas.
Fingers crossed.
In the past 4 or 5 days to a week.
Okay.
In fact, when I was driving here, I passed by the bus stop. There was a flea with his luggage. So I think they're on the way out.
They're on their way out.
Mm-hmm. He was just sitting there with his suitcase.
They got the eviction notice.
Yeah, that's right. So things are looking up for Dylan.
Good. I'm so glad to hear that.
How are you? How's your life going, huh?
Oh, I'm great.
What a pause. Oh.
I'm doing great, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm very convincing.
Yeah. I didn't at all have like an anxiety breakdown on Thursday night. Not at all.
No?
No.
Cool.
Literally not at all. I don't know why you would bring that up. Actually, I'm fine.
If you were to have an anxiety breakdown on Thursday night, what would it be about?
Literally, I don't even know. Yeah.
Can't even speculate.
Cannot even speculate.
You were so calm and cool and collected.
Yeah.
Won't even occur to you.
There's
any
not
reason
even
why.
a problem in the world right now.
Hypothetically, though. If we had to be
Hypothetically,
hypothetical.
just regular anxiety emotions and intrusive thoughts and cyclical patterns that tend to frequent my mind.
I see.
So, just not even like anything specific.
No,
there some things specific, but most of them just recurring intrusive thoughts.
Just a creeping sense of dread and unease.
Genuinely, yeah. So I'm taking the weekend to reflect and deal with my issues and clean in the process because I've been very busy in the past month.
The perfect opportunity to deeply reflect on your personal issues is a public podcast.
Yes, it is, and that's literally why I started one, so that I can publicly reflect on my deeply personal issus.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah. It's been a busy couple weeks, hence the hiatus that we have taken.
Hence.
Hence.
It's been a long hiatus.
It's been a long hiatus, and not intentionally. In singular month of October, I had 3 weddings to attend.
Damn.
2 of which I was heavily involved in and helped to orchestrate. The last one I got to enjoy, but it caused me to miss my own Ocho Loco.
Ocho Aquis,
whatever you said.
Yeah.
Ocho Aquis experience. I'm not bitter at all.
No, I can tell.
Truly not. Mm-hmm. No, I love the couple who got married. I'm very, very happy for them. And honestly, I don't think I would have been able to relax even if I had gone, considering the busyness of everything.
Yeah. 3 marriages, huh?
Because amidst all of that, I'm also in a show.
Yeah, you're in the operetta coming up.
I am in an operetta currently. Dealing with some imposter syndrome there, which has been really healthy and great, too.
Sure, of course. It's crazy you still feel that after so many shows.
It is. Well, whenever it comes to, like, classical music, I want it so badly, and I am very hard on myself, and I'm in a show with professionally trained opera singers, and I am not one myself, so, lots of imposter-y feelings going on there. But I'm great. I'm doing great.
No, I follow Open Stage on Instagram, and I saw, while I was flipping through the pictures on Open Stage on their post, you were there.
Oh, was I?
Quite a surprise.
Was I?
Yes, on Open Stage.
That's a surprise to me. When was I there?
I have no idea, but you were performing at Open Stage in Harrisburg.
When?
You don't remember?
I do remember when, but I didn't realize they posted about it. I didn't get a notification.
They posted about it.
I did. Yeah, they asked me to sing at one of the Court Street cabarets.
And what did you sing then?
I sang Mr. Snow from Carousel.
Oh, so you did get a chance to sing a song from Carousel.
I did. I love that show. I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And they asked me like the night before if I would sing. And so I was like, what song do I have in the back of my pocket? They were like, you can sing from the show that you're doing. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. But thank you. I appreciate the offer. I'm going to sing something else.
That's wonderful. And I have a question for you.
I have an answer.
Now, when you're singing.
Yes.
And you start in the wrong key. How do you pull that back in? How do you...
So when you say you start in the wrong key.
Yeah.
Like just in the wrong key or like just too high for your octave or low for your octave?
So I was at karaoke the other night.
Yeah.
On Thursday.
Yeah.
And I had this lovely song lined up. I uploaded it myself to my YouTube channel so I could sing it in karaoke. Mm-hmm. And I started in the wrong key. I started too high.
So so like not the key was not in the wrong key. The song was not in the wrong key. It was in the correct key.
Right. I was in the wrong key. You
just sang it in the wrong key.
I started way too fucking high. And I wasn't able to salvage it at all. I was screeching for all of it.
Well, here's the thing that you do. you just sing in the right key after you realize that's how you salvage it.
Oh, wow. I wish I had thought of that.
Stop singing the way that you're screeching and you sing in the correct key, because not only are you then screeching, but if the accompaniment that you are singing to is in a completely different key, that's not going to sound good.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for the advice.
You're welcome.
So you're at Open Stage.
I was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you were happy with your performance?
I was. It was honestly probably like one of the best that I've sung that song. And I don't really get to sing that song in public a lot. So like I like got to like really relish it.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. And you're feeling a little bit of imposter syndrome over this operetta that's coming up.
Yes, I've been telling everybody about it. In fact, not fishing for compliments, but
just like reinforcing your own feelings about like insecurity about singing.
Yes. So
getting other people to affirm that insecurity.
Yes.
Or at least assuage it for a little while.
Yes and no, because I'm not necessarily looking for assuasion. I think what I'm looking for is for people to understand why I'm working through it. That I'm trying. That I'm trying hard, and I'm working through the mental part of it.
All we can do as human beings is try.
Yeah. Period.
Welcome, folks.
To My Existential Crisis, the podcast where we talk about all the things that make us question our entire sense of self. My name is Madison.
And my name is Dylan.
We missed this in the intro, but did you know that yesterday it was 3 years of My Existential Crisis?
Really?
Yes, I published the first episode 3 years ago.
How about that?
Isn't that crazy?
Well, happy 3 years.
Yeah, happy 3
Not
years.
Not bad at all.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
Kind of bad since we took a long hiatus. But we're back, baby.
Oh, we're so back.
We're back, and I've got an update. A case for you that has a recent update.
Update 2025.
Whoa. You've probably heard it. It's in the news. It's been in the news for 3 decades now. But today I'm going to be covering the case of the yogurt shop murders. Cool.
Oh, I can't wait. Man, you think there's anywhere safe on this earth that's a yogurt shop? Not the case.
Not the case. No. Not the case at all. So going over my sources, the Yogurt Shop Murders documentary on HBO. It's okay.
Oh, just okay?
It's okay. Yeah, it's not my favorite documentary. It's a little incongruent. Like the way that it's pieced together is not my favorite. And the original documentary was supposed to be focused on something else that we'll talk about later on. So you kind of feel that a little bit throughout it. But anyway, I also have Wikipedia, New York Times, Time.com, KXAN.
Here we go with the sources.
And Statesman. Yep.
Wow.
But I'm just going to dive into you.
My dumbass is like Wikipedia every single time. Reddit, Quora.
Yeah.
Times.
Because I cover the real news, Dylan.
Yep.
I cover the heavy-hitting topics.
And I just make up shit and guess.
Exactly. Yep. And that's why we balance each other out so well.
Yeah, that's the journalistic rigor that I bring to this show.
Yep.
So tell me more about this murder in a yogurt shop.
I will.
Okay.
December 6th, 1991.
Good year for grapes.
Why are we bringing that back? Why are we bringing that back?
I gotta make that stick. I gotta make that.
It's not. I'm actually... you know what? It is. That's what's upsetting.
Yay.
It's not.
Oh, wonderful.
It's not, but it is in my brain whenever you say it, and it makes me like... It's like an electric shock.
Yeah.
I twitch a little. Anyway. December 6th, 1991. 4 teenage girls were in the I Can't Believe It's Not Yogurt shop. That's the actual name of the shop.
I can't believe it's not yogurt. Buddy, there's a lot of things that ain't yogurt. Anyway.
17-year-old Eliza Thomas and 17-year-old Jennifer Harbiseau were employees, while Jennifer's 15-year-old sister Sarah and her friend Amy were in the shop to get a ride home with Jennifer whenever it closed. So there's 4 girls in the shop, 2 of which work there, 2 others who were just going to be getting a ride home after it closed.
Okay.
About 1 hour before closing time, a man was permitted to use the public bathroom in the back. He waited a while and may have jammed a rear door open. But we don't know. Just speculation. A couple who left the shop just before 11 o'clock, as Jennifer closed the door, reported seeing 2 men at a table acting aloof and a bit evasive. Shortly before midnight on Friday, December 6, 1991, a patrolman from the Austin Police Department noticed a fire coming from the I Can't Believe It's Not yogurt shop. He reported it to his dispatcher. Immediately, police and fire department were dispatched, and what they found after the fire was extinguished shocked them. Firefighters discovered 3 nude bodies and immediately called the homicide team. It wasn't until the homicide detective arrived at the scene that he was informed they had found a 4th body.
Okay.
The crime scene was very badly destroyed by the initial fire damage and then the water damage to extinguish the fire, but there was still some clear signs of what could have occurred that evening. Each girl had been shot in the head, execution style, with a .22 caliber lead bullet. Sarah, Eliza, and Jennifer were all gagged and bound with their own underwear.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's really rough. All 3 had been severely charred and, again, shot in the back of the head, and they were stacked near the back door.
The fire did this?
Yeah, the fire shot the bullet. What is that? Oh, The Office. The fire is shooting at us. Do you watch The Office?
Yeah, I love The Office.
Yeah.
What season is that from?
I think that's from The Fire. I think that's from The Fire
Oh.
episode. No. That's from the Dwight emergency episode. Whenever he's like doing the safety protocol. Unlike the others, Amy's body was found in a separate part of the shop. She was not charred, but she had received second and very early 3rd degree burns on 25 to 30% of her body. She was found with a sock-like cloth around her neck, and she had been shot in the same way as the others. However, the bullet had missed her brain. She also had a second bullet wound that caused a severe damage to her brain, exiting through her lateral cheek and jawline.
Okay.
When reinforcements arrived, the coroner wanted to immediately load the bodies up and bring them back to the morgue for autopsy. At the time, DNA evidence was still fairly new, but the homicide detective, John Jones, knew that they needed to wait to collect samples just in case.
Good name for a detective.
It is, and he is kind of like the unsung hero of the case.
Okay.
After some advocating for the coroner to wait for the Department of Public Safety to arrive for these DNA swabs, they eventually conceded, and thank goodness they did. They called the yogurt shop manager to inform her of the fire, and she jokingly said, let it burn. Like, what can I do about it? You're calling me about a fire. I'm just the manager here. Like, I don't know. Like, I can't do anything. But they asked her to sit down, and that's when they told her that there had been 4 bodies found. And they asked her, a 24-year-old, to identify the bodies.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. And they said it was better that she do it than their families.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, who do you really have otherwise? I mean, I guess you can use dental records after the fact.
Yeah. You could. They could have.
This seems preferable to asking to traumatize a 24-year-old.
Yeah. And traumatizing it was because she said that she agreed to do it because it was the right thing to do, but she didn't realize what she had signed herself up for because, like, who would? Mm-hmm. I mean, if you ask me to identify a body, I can think in my heart that it's the right thing to do, and then I see that body is burned and charred.
And shot. And
you're just like, the fuck? Like, how do you know what you're getting into?
Yeah.
She knew there was a fire, but she wasn't thinking charred bodies and blown out brains.
Yeah.
She recalled there wasn't anything there to identify. They didn't have faces. There was no clothing.
God damn.
Yeah.
This poor woman.
Yeah. So what made this case really nearly impossible to solve was the extensive fire and water damage, but particularly the water damage itself. Investigators were going into the scene within the first 24 hours with water up past their ankles. Firefighters were very aware and very fearful that they were probably destroying evidence, but what can you do? You need to put the fire out. Mm-hmm. So they extinguished the fire, and then the homicide investigators did what they could with what was left over.
Yeah.
There was soot everywhere, so dusting for prints was pretty pointless, but they still tried. They found a key left in the front door, but that was pretty normal for the process to close up the shop. They said that whatever happened right as the girls were closing. The toppings were put away, machines were cleaned, but the gaskets were still off, meaning that they were like right in the middle of things, close to the end. There was still water in the sink where they were washing off the scoops, and the yogurt shop manager knew the process, explained their routine was pretty down pat, so she could be used to help pinpoint timelines in this regard.
Right.
Sarah and Amy, the two younger girls, were walking around the mall. When it closed, Sarah's sister Jennifer picked them up and took them to the yogurt shop. They ordered pizza, the girls were likely in the back, and they may have been helping to clean up when the intruders arrived. Originally, it was assumed that this was a robbery gone bad. It was assumed that the intruders weren't aware that there were two more girls in the back of the store. They had probably been casing it for a short period of time, and all they would have seen was the two girls in front. After crime scene evidence was collected, it was found that 2 different bullets were used to shoot the girls. A .22 that shot the 3 girls in the back room, and a what would you call it? Like a .38?
.38
a 22,
caliber?
a 38 caliber, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said a 22, but I couldn't think of 38.
Different number.
A 22 and a 38 that was used to shoot Amy. For context, 22 bullets are very soft and round, making it nearly impossible to get ballistics off of it after the fact. The 38 was found in a drain, and it was big enough to get all the grooves on it, get a fingerprint, and to get the make and the model of the gun used. A week after the murders, a 16-year-old boy named Maurice Pierce goes to the North Cross Mall, the same place a few of the girls were right before they were killed. He had a loaded pistol in the front of his pants, bullets in his pockets, and his friend Forrest Wellborn was with him at the time. With the police on the lookout for anybody with the caliber used in the murders, they were immediately taken in for questioning.
Yeah.
Maurice was arrested with his .22 pistol at the mall, which was only 2 blocks from the yogurt shop. He was taken in and questioned. He was questioned for 3 to 4 hours until the homicide detective who was working on the case took a formal statement. Maurice had a very interesting story about what happened the night of the murders. He said that him and Forrest were hanging out after school, and Forrest said, "Let's get the gun." Forrest put the gun in the car glove box, and after making a stop at one of their sister's house, they went to the mall. Forrest pulls the gun out of the glove box, puts it in his pocket. After walking around the mall for some time, the two friends split up. Maurice claimed that he went to his car to wait for Forrest around 10:30, but Forrest didn't return until 11:30. After returning, Maurice said that Forrest handed him the gun and said, "I did something." Maurice asked, "Like what?"
Yeah.
But
hey, bud. What do you mean?
What do you mean? And he said that Forrest didn't answer. Maurice mentioned that whenever he returned to the car, Forrest was sweaty and smelled of hairspray, and he described hairspray as being what you use to start a fire.
Oh. And did they find that, like, accelerant at the crime scene?
We'll get there.
Okay.
When asked who else was with him that night, Maurice said there were 2 other boys. Get ready for these names, though. Speaking of the office.
I mean, Forrest Wellborn's already a hell of a name.
We got Robert Springsteen.
Robert Springsteen?
Mm-hmm. No relation.
No relation.
And Michael Scott.
No way.
Shit you not.
Really?
Michael Scott.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I was going to make an insert office joke, but we already made one. So,
Yeah, way ahead of it.
Leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
They had apparently rode around town together and then headed to some trails to shoot the gun off because the boys wanted to. Because,
Yep.
boys. The boys had been described by their peers as always looking for trouble. This same night after the murders, these 4 boys stole a car and went to San Antonio to visit a girlfriend. They rode around, started some trouble, and then returned the car back to where it was originally parked. All the boys parted ways, except for Maurice and Forrest, who fell asleep on the couches at Maurice's house. Forrest calls his mom at 6 p.m. after he wakes up, and she takes him home. 2.5 hours later, at about 8:30, Forrest rides his bike back over to Maurice's and asks to borrow the gun again.
Mm.
Maurice is like, "Why?" And Maurice said that Forrest said, "I want to do what I did last night. Go kill some more girls."
He could be innocent.
He could be innocent. He could be.
Yeah.
Maurice said he knew about the girls, the murder at this point, because a friend of a friend was one of the firefighters who found them, and said that he was very traumatized from the scene.
Who was traumatized from the scene?
The firefighter.
Oh, okay.
The friend of a friend.
They should get free yogurt for life.
Well, it's burned down. They
right.
can't.
Out of luck, huh?
It's out of luck. And Maurice is like, at this point, like, what the hell? You didn't kill anybody. I was with you. And he says that Forrest said, yes, I did. I got a hold of one of the girls and fucked her. The next day, after all of Maurice's confessions, it's December 15th at this point, and the police put a wire on Maurice and sent him to Forrest to get some more information.
Okay.
Forrest insisted he was just joking around with Maurice when he said those things. And again, there was a wire involved. It was very clear that while Maurice was talking to Forrest, Forrest had no idea what he was talking about. Maurice was trying to lead him with the questions, and Forrest was very lost. As Detective John Jones on the case puts it, Forrest couldn't organize a 2-car parade.
I like John Jones.
Yeah, he's pretty great.
Yeah. If you were a duck, you'd fly north for the winter.
He would. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Duck? What the fuck am I saying? Oh, no, a goose. Oh, my dumbass. If you were a duck. God damn. Do ducks fly north for the winter?
I don't fucking know, Dylan. I'm just gonna let you roll with it.
Oh, no.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Ugh.
I think ducks pretty much stay put.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, so they brought Forrest in for questioning, but there was zero evidence pointing anywhere. It soon became very clear that Maurice had been making it all up, presumably to get out of the initial gun charge that he was brought in for, and so he just threw his friend under the bus.
Right.
Very quickly, progress slowed, leads dried up, and the case was halting by January. And again, this happened in December 6th.
So they know who did it. It's just like getting that person to admit to their crime. That's what they're sort of stuck doing.
You'll see.
Okay.
You'll see. And I will say, from all intents and purposes, this wasn't a case of incompetent police work. The police really did pull out all the stops. There were a lot of errors made, not necessarily by Detective John Jones, who was leading it, but there were errors that were made. But they did really try hard to pull out all the stops.
Love to see some police competency.
I know, right?
I think that's the first time in our show's history.
Truly. So I wanted to make sure to point that out because it was very impressive, all the things that they had did. Nice. Including, they had undercover cops mic'd up and attending the funerals to try to see if they could catch anybody apologizing or saying something off. They pulled every single ticket in that part of town that the murders happened just to look into the people and just to see if there was a possible connection with any of them. They called 2 or 3 times to all the people who had been customers at the yogurt shop to see if they could remember anything. And they easily tracked down the customers who paid with credit cards, but they even went through the effort of tracking down those who paid with cash. They even hypnotized everyone who had been in the shop that day while the girls were working.
Sorry?
Just to get like some facial composites. And they did get some facial composites that did look very similar to each other.
I've never heard of the police using hypnosis.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they pulled out all the stops for this case.
Damn.
Truly. Jim Jones. Nope. Not that story today.
Yeah.
Not covering that. John Jones, he also had the families very involved in the investigation, which is usually a no-go. Usually they keep them pretty separate, but they really leaned on them for support in finding answers. The family was always at the police station. The cops frequented the family's homes. They were really trying to collaborate, keep them up to date and informed on anything that came up whenever possible. Because without video cameras, they were solely trying to rely on the memory and crime scene evidence, neither of which really seemed to exist.
Yeah, but the kid, was it Forrest, admitted to having the gun?
Yes.
Were they able to, like, obtain that gun?
Yes.
Because I feel like having the murder weapon is enough to put somebody in jail, at least until the court proceedings, right?
Yes, but they couldn't prove that the gun was the one used. It just was the same caliber because they couldn't get ballistics off of the 222
because of the bullet size. Gotcha.
Yes. So that is kind of inconclusive at this point. It was all over the news. All media outlets were calling out to the public to desperately try to get information, and the publicly desperately wanted to give it. Everybody was dialed into this case, working on all fronts to get it solved, but there just wasn't enough there, and what evidence there was had been damaged. Soon enough, the FBI got involved, and they put together a profile on who the murderer would likely be. They described Difficult to determine the race of the offenders, but probable race is white. Other races cannot be ruled out, as other races did frequent the commercialized area. The age of the offenders is also difficult to establish, but most likely late teens, mid-20s.
So late teens to mid-20s, a white person.
Yes.
But also might not be white.
And might not be late teens to mid-20s.
Oh, that narrows it down.
There's some other things. Likely unemployed or in a menial job not requiring contact with the public. Likely to be a resident of the area. Likely to be 2 or more people involved, one of which was more likely to be the dominant one in personality, which forced the weaker one to participate. And the weaker person is likely to suffer from stress, may leave town temporarily. The weaker person may also exhibit behavior changes, be more interested in news coverage than normal, and is likely to have told somebody. And it is hoped that the person that they would likely have told would come forward and be the one to reveal who it was.
Gotcha. I mean, that all makes sense.
It does. I agree.
Of course, it's 2 people because there were 2 different kinds of bullets at the scene.
That's what I was thinking. Like I mentioned before, the whole community was involved. A daycare group where one of the girls attended preschool at were rallying the community for support and funds to help solve the case. Taxi cab companies paid to put up billboards all over the Boston area. The police were receiving hundreds of tips, but unfortunately none of them led anywhere. There were in total over 2,000 tips that the police had to go through, and I believe at any given time there were 6 detectives working on the case. So all 6 of these detectives had to have like full reports on each of these 2,000 tips. Crazy. 2 months after their murders, a couple of composers from Austin wrote a song called We Will Not Forget that became the anthem of all their memorials. The community held vigils, memorial services for months. The community had t-shirts, coffee mugs, banners all over the place, buttons, pins, all made to just help spread awareness and market the case to get publicity over it. The investigation continued, and although none of the leads were amounting to anything, they did have roughly 6 written confessions and 40 oral confessions given to the murder.
Okay.
And this is where we get into some incompetency.
Gotcha.
Hector Palanca, the lead interrogator on the case, had a record for never having a crime go unsolved. Until this case, that is. Hector was very good at what he did, which led to so many false confessions. Cops can lie to you, and Hector was very good at that. There were many instances where people who confessed said that Hector had really convinced them that they had committed the crime. He would convince them that they had it on video. He would use evidence from the case to plant those memories and ideas into the heads of these people. And this is actually originally what the original filmmaker was making a documentary about. She felt that the case itself was too big as a whole to make a documentary about. So she had focused as a film student on simply false memories. And I do want to cover that eventually because it's fascinating.
Yeah.
But that's what's happening a lot in this story.
I mean,
over and over and over again.
Yeah, if you keep somebody in an interrogation room for like 8+ hours, the thing that they want most is just to leave.
Yes.
And they'll probably say pretty much anything to get out of there.
Well, not just that, but like the documentary was going into how memory works. And again, I can cover this more in depth later on. But essentially, the memory isn't like a VCR. It's not like a tape player that you can just like hit play and like go through. Like you're really you have to recreate something every single time you remember something. Yeah. And memory does not like to have gaps in the story. So if it has gaps in the story, you can fill that with whatever you want. If you create it in your head, your memory doesn't know what's real and what's not real, which is why confessions and like witness testimonies are so unreliable as actual evidence because memory is so faulty as a trusted weapon.
And on subsequent recollections, you just recreate from the past recreation and recreate again, and it gets less and less trustworthy.
Exactly. And that's exactly what's happening here. The sergeant would withhold information from the interrogator, the sergeant being Jim Jones. Sorry, I keep bringing up Jim Jones. We're not doing that. John Jones. John Jones knew that Hector was like this, so he would keep evidence from him. Hector would ask for specifics about the case, and he would not tell him so that he wouldn't get more false confessions. So John Jones is really trying to help weed out these false confessions, which is why none of them were actually being indicted for the murders. Hector was the weak point in this case. While everybody was pulling on the same set of oars, he was setting up a motor to push the boat sideways. So much
Good metaphor.
I made that up.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Thank you. So much time ended up being wasted on false leads and false confessions. He ended up being reassigned 3 months into the investigation due to coercing false confessions over and over again.
Gotcha.
6 months after the investigation, the reward money was quadrupled to $100,000.
Damn. Imagine how much yogurt you can buy with that.
Well, you're just stuck on the yogurt.
Yeah.
You're really stuck on their lifetime supply, $100,000 worth.
I mean, I'm a lactose intolerant person.
Are you really?
Lactose sensitive.
I didn't know that.
Edging toward lactose intolerant, but lactose sensitive. Yeah, it really messes with my gastrointestinal system.
Wait, but
a lot of the time I can push through it.
I was going to say, you do push through it because you eat a lot of things with cheese, like pizza. I was going to say, I never wouldn't have known.
Well, there's a pretty big divide between sensitive and intolerant.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times I'll just bite the bullet / pizza and enjoy a delicious meal.
I did not know that.
But man, it can really fuck me up. Specifically milk.
Milk.
Any kind of like milk destroys me, wrecks me. We're not talking about this on the podcast.
Okay. When would you like me to start cutting? As soon as you mention your gastrointestinal distress?
Leave it in. Leave all of it in.
Thank you for opening up about your problems.
God forbid a man be vulnerable, huh? and
public...
immediately gets punished.
Yeah. Punished yourself.
Yeah.
I punished nobody. Oh gosh. Anyway, like I mentioned, there were over 2,000 tips that were called into the station and only 6 investigators who were working on them. So they started to really work down their leads, and then they were able to narrow it down to 350 potential suspects.
Oh.
Still a lot.
Fucking.
Still a lot.
Sheesh.
Everything from white supremacists to money laundering groups to satanic rituals to robbery gone bad to vampires to goth teens to what people called creek people in the town.
Creek people.
Actually, I thought this was an urban legend, but it's actually just what they called the teens who hung out at the creek.
Oh.
And they didn't...
Creek teens.
Yes, creek teens. And why I'm saying that the documentary felt a little misjointed and incongruent was because they didn't reveal that until like 2 episodes later. So the whole time I'm thinking it's this like people are really going crazy with urban legends, and then they're introducing some of the creek teens because they got dragged into the story, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Anyway.
That's funny. But at the time that they're collecting these suspects, they know about Forrest, right?
Yes.
And they know about his friend.
Yes.
So why would they... I mean, I guess they're obligated to spend time casting a pretty wide net.
Well, the thing is, they didn't have any evidence to actually conclusively pin them down. So they had to keep it open to everybody.
Gotcha. Okay. I guess you can't really just like spend a lot of resources on this if there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Creek people.
Let's get into it.
Great people. Well, the public started out as the police's greatest asset. It quickly became their greatest hindrance in the case. Rumors ran wild. Gossip was spreading like wildfire. The police were busting down doors and sending in SWAT teams all over Austin, just going off of rumors. People knew they were being cased and knew the police were coming to investigate them. One woman, for instance, she was more of an eccentric person. She was more into like the occult, not like necessarily satanic, but just more into the occult, just more of a quirky person.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all. So she, again, knew the police were casing her, and she bought a fake skeleton with dirt, fake hair, gunk all over it to look real and try to get them to find it when they eventually busted down their door. And they did. And the skeleton looked very real. It was a head like in a pile of like bones and shit. Like it looked like a ritual.
Why would they do that? Why would they
try to feed in? Well, she thought that they would find this fake skeleton and think, oh, this is a load of BS. I'll leave this person alone. Like maybe all these people and like the satanic panic and everything of the day, maybe it's all just BS and like they get the gist.
What a roundabout way of doing that.
But she didn't realize that whenever the police busted the door down, that 48 hours was coming with them. So they had a whole camera crew in filming her without permission, Police confiscated her property, rummaged through it. It was blasted all over the TV, along with her moral character. And this happened over and over again. This wasn't just her. But they confiscated a ton of occult items, S&M items, other innocent but taboo items from this woman's home. And she was plastered on TV like the main suspect. She was arrested naked, cut to commercial, and then come back and realize it was just nothing, just a weirdo. And then this was shown on air over and over for 30 years.
If you're not guilty, don't make yourself look guilty on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't put together a corpse in your home.
Yeah.
When you know the police are coming.
Yeah. Even if the camera crew's not there.
Yeah. It's not going to help your case.
No.
Even if they find out that it's fake.
Yeah. Yep.
Damn.
Yeah. So this happened over and over again. This woman was deemed innocent after they had actually dug through the evidence or lack thereof, and they released her. And soon enough, the police departments that is, relationships with the families turned a bit embittered by the despair. I wrote this word because I was trying to find, desperosity was the word I was trying
Desperosity?
But that's not a word.
No.
Desperacy is the word I was using.
Desperosity is a song by the Eagles.
Are you serious?
No. It's Desperado.
I'm going to end my life.
Cut to commercial.
Soon enough, the police department's relationships with the families turned embittered by the desperacy the police were showing.
Desperacy. Okay.
Yes.
I feel like that's a good middle ground.
Thank you. They were frustrated that things weren't going anywhere and that we're using people for media attention now while we're at it.
Are we thinking of the word desperation?
Yes, but desperation doesn't fit into that sentence.
Can you read the sentence back?
Oh, shit, it does. It does fit into the sentence.
Oh, fuck.
I thought so hard about that. I was like, what word goes in here? It's not desperation. It very much is desperation.
We had to invent two other words.
Listen, I'm just showing my ingenuity.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Ingenuity.
I'll try this again. Soon enough, the police department's relationships with the families turned embittered by the desperation the police were showing.
Hey!
There we go. We did it. 10 months after the murders, the police revealed that they had a break in the case where they had gotten a confession. Now, I will say, at this point, 10 months after the murders, police had been taken off the case and reassigned to the case and taken back off the case and reassigned to it. People left the force. So we're basically starting with fresh eyes every time somebody leaves.
Yeah.
So at this point, that's exactly what had happened. We don't find out, again, part of the reason I don't like the documentary is the timeline's all fucked up. We don't realize until episode 3 that John Jones was not on the case at this point, where all this incompetency is happening.
John Jones was taken off.
He was taken off the case, which we'll get to later.
Okay.
But 10 months after the murders, John Jones is no longer on the case. There's a completely brand new people who are on the case. And they realized that they had gotten another confession. 3 suspects were named publicly, all of which were currently on trial for another rape and murder charge. And during one of their interrogations for that case, one of the men confessed to the yogurt shop murders. The man named 2 other people in the murders alongside of him, one of which bore a striking resemblance to the sketches gotten from the customers who saw someone outside that day.
Really?
Really. And I will say, actually is a striking resemblance.
So the hypnosis worked?
Worked.
That's wild.
This man said that they approached the girls, beat them, and tied them up with their clothing. But since they were from Mexico, the 3 would be tried in Mexico due to extradition and be sentenced there. The original confession also happened in Mexico, where they were being interrogated for this other crime. So not even the investigative team covering the case knew about this interrogation. The team at home were very confused by the process, since it was very much out of their hands. All the while, the media attention circulated around these men being the murderers. It was blasted everywhere. They had them named. They got the guys. And then the investigative detectives, John Jones being one of them because he was still at the force, finally got a hold of the written confessions, and they were just filled with glaring discrepancies within them.
Yeah.
They had the caliber of the gun wrong. They said that they had poured white gas all over the place, which is kerosene, but that was not true. The sergeant leading the case, John Jones, said it was a very nice confession. A Hollywood screenwriter would be proud of that, but the problem is it wasn't worth the paper it was written on.
It must be so frustrating to know who did it and have to just look elsewhere because you don't have enough evidence. It's like, what a waste of resources.
Yeah. Well, we'll come back to that. We'll get there.
Unless they didn't do it, and I sound like a fucking idiot this whole time.
We'll see. But when people saw experts of this confession, the media just ran with it again, like they did before. The man who originally confessed had a press conference held the day after because of these glaring discrepancies in his confession, and fought back tears as he said the police forced him to confess, tying a bag around his head, putting rags in his mouth, tying up his hands, punching him, and threatening to hurt his family if he did not sign the confession. At this time of the killings, a known serial killer, Kenneth McDuff, was also in the area, and he had a history of multiple murders involving teenagers, but was soon ruled out, and he was finally executed in 1998.
Okay.
So they couldn't go down that road, really, anyway. Austin police admitted that over 50 people, including McDuck, including...
First name Scrooge?
Yes, Scrooge McDuck. Including McDuff, on the day of his execution, had confessed to the yogurt shop murders. Months turned into years, with still not a lot to go on. The media attention died down, covering other stories while the families who were suffering were waiting desperately for answers. And while the media circus was very much that, it did do something very humane. It gave a voice to the families suffering through a tremendous loss. It's very easy. This is kind of a tangent, but I figured it would be kind of important to cover. It's also being like the 3-year anniversary of our show. It's very easy to be fascinated with true crime. I can be guilty of that for sure, but I really do want to make sure that when people cover it, like I really do think we do good credit there, that we do it with the humanity that the victims and the families deserve to have. There is a huge sick fascination in general with true crime in the world, and I do think that's very true. But I think the reason that I get so fascinated with it is because of the humanity. Because of the humanity behind it and the people behind it. And that's kind of why I get drawn into it.
Yeah.
And a lot of media coverage did go into covering the families and their hurt and grief over the years, which really brings a different light to the fascination that you have.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was listening to one of the original interviews with the mother of Jennifer and Sarah Harbison, and she was recounting her experience getting the news from police. And right after they told her, they asked if there was any other family that needed to be told. She insisted that there was not. She lied to the police so that she didn't have to admit the truth and be the one to tell people. Because I don't even think it's something that I realized at the time. But after you're given news like that, you're then the person who is affected probably most of all by that has to then tell everybody else about it. Over and over. You're the one who has to break the news to other people close to you and the victims. So she said that she had to call the girl's father and stepmother and tell them of the news, her sisters, other family, and she just recalled hearing the screams over and over on the phone, having to go through all of it over and over and over again, retelling the tragic news of what happened that she herself is still processing. And I think that that's just like a really perfect image of grief and what goes beyond the stories that we tell. And that was just one family. There was 2 others that had to go through the same exact thing, with more and more people being affected by it. Whole communities, again, the communities were so involved, and the media did get out of hand, but the communities themselves were so involved because they were so impacted by this. So all that to say, while we do cover true crime, like there is so much humanity that goes behind it, and those are the stories that should be told.
Yeah, I agree.
The reason actually that John Jones got reassigned and was taken off the case is because he was diagnosed with PTSD by being so consumed by the case. He had recurrent distressing dreams of the event, intense psychological distress over the events, restricted range of emotions, difficulty falling or staying asleep, 0 relationships since divorce, exaggerated startle response. Even just talking about his diagnosis in the documentary got him really emotional and worked up. So it's very clear that he really poured his heart and soul into this case. But just for his own health, he had to be reassigned and taken off.
Yeah, makes sense.
So now we're 6 years into the case, going unsolved. And in that short time, so many people in the police department, again, come and gone. And when they do, you're basically starting over again. So on top of that, there were then police politics, where the new investigators shut out the old ones, criticizing them, accusing them of messing up the case. A lot of people were very critical of John Jones because he didn't, double check that the information he was getting out of Hector Polanco was correct. And the same information that he was hearing, which I think is a fair criticism. But I also think that man did a lot for the case.
Yeah, absolutely.
All that to say, there was a whole new set of detectives taking a fresh look at the case, and they came upon the Maurice Pierce lead. Remember him? He was the guy who got arrested with the gun and associated with the three others, Michael Scott, Robert Springsteen, and Forrest Wilburn.
Yes. I've been hanging on to that this whole time.
Yeah, I know you have been. So they brought in Robert Springsteen, and at this time, the boys were in their 20s. There was no record of what was said to the men in the 1991 interrogations, which made it impossible to know whether the detectives had supplied information to the suspects in the initial interrogations. Again, we don't know what Hector Polanco said to them and if he planted information in their brains. Such information could then be used to implicate the suspects in later interrogations if they referred to it. And this is exactly what happened. Those initial interrogations with the teenage boys lasted about 5 hours, if not more, under Hector Polanco, the interrogator who kept getting those false confessions.
Yeah.
And it turns out the story that Maurice told Hector to even get the written statement was different than the one that he actually finally signed off on to Detective Jones. Nobody thought to look into Maurice himself after giving these varying stories. Long story short, because it really is a very long story, looking into Maurice sent the detectives looking to Springsteen and Michael Scott, who were never really originally interviewed about the case despite being mentioned by Forrest and Maurice. So now Springsteen and Scott were being interrogated 6 years later, now in their 20s, and the same thing that the new investigator criticized Jones about was happening again. They got more false confessions. It's actually so infuriating. You can see the actual confessions in the documentary, and it's so explicitly coerced over a course of hours with these false memories planted, except this time it came with a conviction. Once again, the media went wild because this is exactly what they've been looking for. They've been looking for the answer. They've been hanging on to this story for a while.
Yeah, 6 years.
Exactly. And again, the media circus, just another instance of the families getting their hopes up and having to force them go through trials and reliving those painful memories all over again. Former Detective Jones, he was reassigned, so he was very out of the loop on what was happening with the case. But from a media standpoint, it looked really good. It sounded really, really good. Maurice was being looked into. Eventually, actually what had happened is after re-interviewing all of these three boys, they said that Forrest was just kind of there watching. He wasn't even really the one with the gun. So all the time that Maurice was like, he had the gun and he did this and he was gone, literally just never happened.
Okay.
And then Forrest ended up being written out of the equation entirely. See how this is becoming very contrived?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what's happening. And again, from a media standpoint, it's looking real good, sounding real good, because these were the boys that had been talked about since day one. But then Detective Jones was informed that the conviction of these four boys was actually reliant solely on the confessions of Springsteen and Scott and no actual evidence. So he was shocked because he's like, this is exactly why there wasn't any convictions up until this point, because this is exactly what has kept happening over and over and over again.
Yeah.
After 8 years and zero physical evidence tied to the murders, tying these boys to the murders, the Austin police decided to come back to them. They all were leading quiet lives, had families at this point. That doesn't make them good people necessarily, but still didn't really have anything to do with it. And once again, the confessions clearly did not match the crime scene and the evidence. Like I mentioned, Forrest was actually let out on bail and he was not indicted along with the rest of them. It was Maurice, Pierce, Springsteen, and Scott. They were all indicted and convicted. Springsteen and Scott were sent to trial entirely due to their self-incriminating statements. The prosecution went into great detail about the horrific nature of the crimes against the young victims, but presented zero hard evidence other than confessions. The two were convicted of capital murder, and Springsteen was sentenced to death, and Scott was sentenced to life imprisonment.
That's one of the reasons why I don't agree with the death penalty is because even if there's a slight chance that it kills an innocent person, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Yeah, I 100% agree. And again, Hector Palanca, having been accused of coercing false confessions, he actually was involved in a previous notorious case in absolving an exonerated defendant. Both were released after 13 years in prison because, again, they had given false confessions. One of the men was actually assaulted in prison, which resulted in permanent brain damage while they were innocent the whole time. And 7 jurors from the trial said that if they had known about this evidence that was not that was not brought to the trial, they never would have found the boys guilty. So eventually, in 2005, Springsteen had his sentence commuted to life in prison instead of the death penalty. So there was at least that. But then in 2008, the Texas Supreme Court overturned both of the convictions. Why? Because of DNA evidence that had finally, again, John Jones, our hero, waiting for swabs. Had we not had those swabs, they would be in jail.
Incredible.
Forever.
So the DNA evidence came back.
Yes. Yeah.
And
the prosecution decided to retry both of these defendants, but the forensic evidence showed that the DNA found in one of the victims was not theirs, nor was it that of the 2 other suspects implicated through confessions. The prosecution consequently abandoned its plans for a retrial, and Texas courts later decided that those released were not entitled to compensation because they had not proven that they did not commit the crime.
That's pretty fucked.
It's very fucked. But essentially, with the DNA evidence, this is the statement released by the district attorney speaking about it. As you know, both Springsteen and Scott were convicted by juries on June 2001 and September 2002. Their convictions were then overturned by the appellate court, but their statements to law enforcement were found to be voluntarily given. Which is, yes, but under questionable circumstances.
Yeah.
Since the original trial of these 2 men, new developments in DNA technology have become available. As we prepared for a retrial in March 2008, we submitted various evidentiary items for what is called YSTR testing. It looks for male DNA only and is deemed to be the most accurate test for samples that are mixtures of male and female DNA, as in this case. We sought this testing because we have an ongoing duty and responsibility to use the most up-to-date science available to seek the truth in all cases we prosecute. Currently, it is clear to me that our evidence in the death of these 4 young women includes DNA from one male whose identity is not yet known to us. The defense asserts that the testing reveals more than one unknown male, but the evidence presented at the hearing on Thursday contradicts that notion. All that to say, there is one male whose evidence we have that is none of those people that are convicted.
Okay.
The Attorney General still thinks it's them, just didn't have their DNA. But the case was eventually dropped in 2009. All charges were dismissed.
Okay.
Still great. In actually 2002, it was announced that advanced DNA technology was bringing investigators closer than ever to solving the Austin murders. Because after that, there was nothing. After 2008, whenever these people were released, nothing.
Okay.
Dead silence.
So whoever committed these crimes didn't have their DNA submitted to any database.
Correct.
So they didn't commit any of the crimes.
Correct.
Okay, which seems kind of unlikely.
Yes.
Because the nature of the crime itself doesn't seem like, hey, this is the first time I'm going to commit a crime.
Yes.
I'm going to go kill and assault these women.
Yes.
And set this place on fire.
Yes. Yes, and. We'll see. So, on August 3rd, 2022, actually, President Joe Biden signed the Homicide Victims Family Rights Act, which was motivated by the yogurt shop murders, which is intended to help ensure that the federal law enforcement reviews cold case files and applies the latest technologies and investigative standards. So this is actually why the case was reopened to begin with.
Okay.
And the latest update in September 26th of this year, Austin police announced that Robert Eugene Brashers, a serial killer who was identified through investigative genetic genealogy, had been linked to the yogurt shop murders by DNA.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So.
Okay. Is he alive?
I don't believe so. Oh. No, he's not. He committed suicide in a standoff with police in 1999. But a partial YSTR DNA profile was developed from one of the swabs in the victims. It did not match any of the previous suspects that we talked about. However, Brasher's DNA profile was enough of a partial match to investigate the lead further. Testing of a bullet casing found in the drain of the crime scene was consistent with patterns produced by the gun that Brashers used to commit suicide with in 1999. So that's the closest lead that we have gotten so far. It's not definitive that this is who had done it.
Right.
And it's still very likely that there were more people along with this person who had done it. But that's what we've got. And to refer back to what we were saying before about this man not having committed any other crimes, it's possible that there was just not enough evidence to submit to CODIS.
Right.
Which is the center that essentially holds all of the DNA evidence and looks for matches. So that's a big possibility. I don't actually know. There's not a lot of information about that. I'm sure because the case is still ongoing and this was a recent development. But that's the closest that we've come to any kind of definitive statement about who has done what in this case that there ever has been.
And his name is Brashers?
Robert Eugene Brashers.
Was he known to work with anyone?
Not that I'm aware of.
Gotcha.
No, not that I'm aware of.
And the hypnosis, did he resemble? No, so it wasn't. Nope. There actually wasn't anything there.
No. There might have been a man outside of... So that's the thing. We don't know if he was working with anybody else. So there could have been.
Gotcha.
But we don't know.
Gotcha.
And he's no longer around to investigate and interrogate. We only have past things to go off of. But I will say this is the only real piece of hard DNA evidence that we have on this case. Even if it's just a partial match. It's still the closest bit to solving this case that I think we'll probably get.
Well, at least there's some closure.
Yeah.
For the families.
One other quick note. Under Texas law, if someone is imprisoned and then later the conviction not only gets overturned, but the person is also formally declared innocent, they could get restitution, up to $80,000 for each year they were imprisoned. And it's very uncommon, but the lawyers for Springsteen and Scott say that they remain hopeful.
Okay.
That's the story of the yogurt shop murders.
I never heard of that case before.
Still not really closed.
Right. But
kind
at least,
of, but not really.
Half of it's closed, more or less.
Yeah.
Wow, what a hell of a case.
Yeah.
Surprised I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, me too.
It's amazing just the process that they went through and the lengths that they went to get things done.
Yeah.
And even with all of that work, how long it took.
Yeah.
And this murder took place in
1991.
1991. Good year for grapes. And finally reached some amount of closure in 2025.
Yeah.
Which is
30 years later.
Numbers year later, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do the math.
34.
34.
I got you.
Right. Well, thank you so much for bringing that.
Yeah. I'm upset that there isn't more closure, but there is at least some closure.
Yeah.
And I hope that that's enough for the families.
Oh.
Because I can't imagine going through all that over and over and over again with the media and whatnot.
Yeah. Man, I really need a yogurt break. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for listening.
For listening. If you are interested in hearing more of us, we are back and better than ever, baby.
We're so fucking back.
We are back. So catch us next week when we do something else. Mm-hmm. Or the week after. I'm actually not going to promise that. Let's
see.
Well, we'll get back to you guys.
Hey, we're back.
We're back. But
we're back.
We're back. We're back.
Question mark?
Yeah.
Where can they find us?
They can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Emmy Crisis Pod. You can also send us an email with your lovely thoughts and story suggestions and creative comments and fan art.
Fan art
At My Existential Crisis Podcast at gmail.com. I'm really reaching here.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dylan, where can they find you?
They can find me at Marblefolk on Instagram.
Amazing. And you can find me at my first and last name on Instagram.
All right, folks.
Bye.
Bye.